with Aaron Andrews and Kirk Herbstreit. Mike Tirico, glad you're with us. The Fiesta on the River this final week in December, the 2005 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Michigan leads 21-17. Steve Breaston awaits a very nice high kick and a terrific hit that they say was illegal. Wow. I don't know if that was Andrew Shanley. It was Shanley. I thought that was perfectly timed by Shanley, but let's wait and see on that terrific kick.
Collar rules out, right?
Yeah, the halo, the 2-yard halo.
It's been out for a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're discussing it. It was so close. Bang, bang. Again, the speed of the play looked like it was perfectly timed. And there was no interference with the opportunity to catch the ball because he caught it.
Yeah.
The kick
just looked like good coverage to me from up here.
Kick catch interference. Contact against the kicking team. 15 yards. First down.
Bill Callahan's making a very good point.
He's exactly right.
How can you interfere with catching the kick when you catch the kick?
That's the old halo rule. It's no longer in effect.
It's a hair call, but Breaston has to bail out to catch it.
It's only going to cost him 15 yards, so it's not that big a deal for Nebraska. Oh my gosh.
The name of the penalty is kick catch interference, and Michigan will take over at the 47-yard line.
Tough night. Tough night.
And we'll step out here before Michigan gets going from the 47. Bill Callahan can have a longer, in-depth conversation and get a closer look at kick-catch interference. Bill Callahan still asking Jim Jackson for an explanation of the rule. Kirk, I know it's been a month since I've been reading to you late at night, but here we go, buddy. It is interference. Here's your real book, Merry Christmas. Interference foul if the kicking team contacts the potential receiver before or simultaneous to his first touching the ball. So if it's simultaneous,
right,
it's a flag and it's 15 yards.
Okay, what if it's he catches it, then you get hit? See, I think it was after.
He catches it?
Yeah, he catches the ball, and then he's hit. Yeah. I don't think it was during the catch.
It was very close to simultaneous, and that would be, just by rules, so everybody knows, the explanation. 1st and 10, Michigan.
Very good.
From the 47, Mike Hart into the line for about 3 yards to midfield. Well, this great week of bowl games will continue. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN. Friday, see Steve Spurrier's team in the Independence Bowl. The Gamecocks against Missouri. And the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Ryan Moore, the outstanding receiver for Miami of Florida, is also out, in addition to the Jamarcus Russell injury for LSU. Doesn't take away from a great game.
Matt Flynn gets a start there against a very, very good Miami defense.
From midfield, here is Hart, who is twisted by that right ankle after a gain of 3 yards. You know, Brad Nessler and Bob Greasy will be doing that Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And it got me thinking, Brian Greasy, we talked about all the Michigan quarterbacks. I mentioned Rick Meyer earlier. Bo Schembechler was the Michigan coach, and recruiting Rick Meyer in Indiana during a game in 1988 happened to be in Meyer's house during Monday Night Football. And Dan Deerdorf, one of the great Wolverines, was announcing on Monday Night Football. And Jim Harbaugh, Michigan quarterback, was starting the game. Henne takes a timeout here, so Michigan will use its second timeout. They'll have one left. So Harbaugh's making the start on Monday night. Deerdorf's doing the game on TV.
Pretty
That's
good.
Great
pretty
for
good
Bo.
Opportunity.
That's a home run. You put the game on in the Meyer house. So here you go. We're watching. He ends up saying, well, here's Jim Harbaugh. Do you know, and I guess he was working with Al at that. I think Al and Frank Gifford. You know, guys, no Michigan quarterback has ever thrown a touchdown in the NFL. And this is while Bo's sitting there with Rick Meyer. It's like not the best timing in the history of the world.
Well, it worked out great.
Rick Meyer goes to Notre Dame. Elvis Grbac goes to Michigan and starts that long run of quarterbacks that we showed you earlier. And it's one of the reasons that Chad Henne wears a different microscope. Because you've had all these guys go right to the NFL, now Chad Henne has to walk into that position and maintain not just the tradition of the most wins in the history of the sport, 849, but those 7 guys who've come before you as well.
I asked Chad, growing up in Pennsylvania, looking at Penn State, looking at some other schools, why Michigan? And he said the obvious answer was not only the academics and a great school, feeling comfortable there, but let's face it, the way they turn out quarterbacks, they send them up to the next level. They prepare quarterbacks for the NFL. That had a lot to do with why Chad Henne ended up going to Michigan.
3rd and 4. Pressure is picked up. Henne throwing for Avant. Did he bring it in? Oh, what a catch by Avant at the 21. Gain of 26 for the senior.
Mike, in this offense, Mike Hart, and especially his receivers the last couple of years, it was Braylon Edwards, Steve Breston, and I felt a lot of times the guy that gets overlooked is Jason Avant. He is a great leader for this team. He's the team's MVP, and he fought through pass interference, no call, and makes a catch to keep this drive alive for the Wolverines. Great play by Jason Avant.
76th catch of the year. Screen to Hart is nearly an interception for Jay Moore at the end. Moore had a pick against Iowa State in Nebraska's double overtime win over the Cyclones back in Lincoln on October 1st. And he almost had a go-ahead pick 6 there.
It's one of those plays as a quarterback, you're throwing that blind, and you don't even see the defender not only in front of you, but there was a corner that was closing in on Hart, that if Hart would have made the catch, he would have been hit heavy and maybe fumbled the football.
Play adjustment, 5 on the clock. Kevin Grady, the freshman, is in at running back. He goes straight up the middle. Almost looks like he was getting ready to cut it to the right side with a window open for him. But he's more of a straight ahead runner. Gets to the 19. You'll have 3rd and about 8 coming up.
Well, again, you just have to be impressed with this front of Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, you can look at Michigan and say, well, this is a team that struggled to run the football the entire year, but got to continue to go back to the point that you have Jake Long in that lineup, healthiest that he has been all year. Matt Lentz, Krause, Riley, Stenovich, Mike Hart for the most part in the lineup. And Nebraska holding up very nicely against that front.
Titus Brothers comes in. 5 DBs for the Huskers. Henne stepping up, taking off, gets another key first down at the 7-yard line.
3rd time this ball game on 3rd down that Nebraska has covered their receivers downfield. The pressure's coming in on Henne, and he decides to be able to use his feet to pick up a first down. This is another area that I think he's improved the most. Sliding the protection to help himself out in pass protection. Watch 77, the right tackle, help out and basically just wall off the defensive lineman Cryer to give him a nice vacancy there to go through.
First and goal, Hart straight ahead, twisted and turned, maybe a half yard. Not much more. Blake Tietke out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, comes in to make the play.
Mike, the way this game is gone, this is huge for Nebraska. They have got to force a field goal at this point in the game.
One of the few healthy linemen all year for Michigan, Reuben Riley, the guard, has limped off the field. Riley is out. Adam Krause has come in. Krause, usually a center, slides over to guard. Beal remains at center. New left guard for Michigan. 2nd and goal. Play action, Henne. Looking, running again. Can he get there? Touchdown, Michigan! What a game for Chad Henne. He's thrown 3 and now runs for 1.
There's another dimension to Michigan's offense that teams are going to have to prepare for next year. Not that you're going to make a living with Chad Henne running the football, but just the recognition from Chad and being able to come off of his receivers and have the confidence to use his speed to get to that next level of the defense, and this time into the end zone.
Rivas gets the extra point. Henne has runs of 14, 12, and 7. He has 4 total touchdowns, tying Nebraska great Eric Crouch for the most touchdowns rushing and passing in an Alamo Bowl. Michigan +11. Number 7 has put up 7 each quarter for Michigan. They lead 28-17. Okay, cleats, $110. The MasterCard Alamo. Your jersey, $100 for an authentic jersey at this game. Helmet, $189. This is a surprise to us, folks. We don't know. Playing in a bowl game, priceless.
Oh, that's
MasterCard Alamo Way. Get it?
Yeah, that was good stuff.
There you go.
Very good stuff.
The Nebraska fans made the 900-mile journey from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln here. Now they're trying to root their team back. The return by Marlon Lucky takes it out to the 23-yard line. That Memorial Stadium in Lincoln is expanding. Steve Peterson, the athletic director, who does a terrific job building new facilities at his stops in Pittsburgh. He was at Ohio State as an associate athletic director along the way. Now he's in Lincoln, hired Bill Callahan after letting go of Frank Solich. A $50 million expansion to the stadium. There are 6,500 more seats going in. Be ready for September next year when Zac Taylor and the Cornhuskers take the field. 1st and 10 for Taylor for the 23.
Keep an eye on Nebraska offensive tackles struggling and now obvious passing situations.
Michigan showed the pressure, backed out. Complete pass is a big hit by Leon Hall on Nunn. SportsCenter 30-30 time, and here's Reese Davis.
All right, Mike, Brett Favre was non-committal but reflective when talking about his future in the NFL. He even said that perhaps he doesn't fit into the Packers' plans, but no one has the heart to tell. And much more on this story coming up on SportsCenter after the game. And the King, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, will have his mouth wired shut for 6 weeks after having surgery to repair a broken jaw. SportsCenter after the game, ESPN News, right now.
Thank you, Reese. 2nd down and 9. Taylor pumps to the left, comes back to the right. He is hit. And again, this Michigan front doing a terrific job. Rondell Biggs that time comes in to get the smack. Kirk, there's only 4 sacks for Michigan, but there are about 15 hits.
Mike, it's all with the tackles for Nebraska. And again, this time, fresh body. Rondell Biggs gets a chance to get in there, going up against these tackles. They're just pinning their ears back and getting every single time to Zac Taylor. Every time he drops back to throw.
Gabe Watson comes off the field. Michigan brings fresh linemen out. Taylor has nobody open. Doesn't matter who's in on defense. Taylor's just getting pounded here. Biggs finished it. Woodley started the pressure. 4th down.
If you're a Nebraska fan, it's very easy at this point to be frustrated. But what I'm seeing in looking into the future of this program is this is the area. Everybody wants to know, why can't you win right away with Bill Callahan? This is a classic example of what's missing right now and why he's recruiting as hard as he is. He already has 20 verbals. They need offensive linemen. They need playmakers at receiver to make this offense go.
Weston back for the punch. Shanley, same exact play. No flag this time. And it's stopped at the 31-yard line. Good play, 2nd time in a row by Shanley. You know, this defensive line for Michigan's playing great, and one of them is playing with great emotion. Watch this hit again. Virtual repeat.
Is that the same? That was the same play?
Different play,
okay.
Actually. Different play, actually.
All right.
After this Michigan first play, there's one guy in that Michigan defense, their first-team all-conference performer, Gabe Watson, who, along with Mike Hart and Steve Breaston on offense, were in the middle of one of the most heartwarming stories of the season. Remember Charlie Weiss and Notre Dame and the play he called back at their own 1-yard line on the road this year? Well, Hart, who takes the pitch from Henne here, and is stopped for a loss of 2 yards. The ball comes out, but goes out of bounds, so it stays with Michigan. There's a young man who passed away in October, Matt Kaiser. Matt was from Sturgis, Michigan, not too far away from where the Wolverines play. He's diagnosed with encephalitis. Make-A-Wish, part of what the wonderful work they do. One of his wishes to be close to Michigan football, and the players came out to see him as he was obviously in an incapacitated state, yet brought there. That is his dad, Matt's father pictured with Gabe Watson. Gabe Watson was so moved by the emotion, he gave his Outback Bowl ring off his finger to Matt's father just to do something of some goodwill and show of emotion back from Gabe, a very thoughtful young man. Henne on second down runs, only gains a couple of yards here. A third down coming up. Gabe gave the ring to the dad. Unfortunately, Matt passed away 3 weeks later, and today would have been Matt's 9th birthday. So Gabe Watson and Dana Jacobson did a terrific story on Cold Pizza this morning about Watson and Hart and Breaston, the other players, and the Kaiser family who have been so thankful for having their son in his last days be touched with that emotion. And actually, as that was happening, it was playing on the big board here. A lot of the Michigan fans saw it and responded to Gabe Watson. Just one of those touching stories of the season. 3rd and 13. Henne throws incomplete for Manningham. And we'll have 4th down coming up for Michigan.
Mike, and if I understand the story right, this happened clear back in early part of October, right?
Yes, October.
Now, what I love about that is Gabe Watson in Michigan, they weren't looking for a lot of fanfare. They weren't looking for, boy, look at us, look what great guys we are. This is just something from the heart. And for Gabe Watson to be just overwhelmed by that family.
And you see he has 9 and Matt written on his left wrist there, taped with thoughts of Matt before this game here tonight.
Just, it's great to hear those kinds of stories because you always hear about the other side of the spectrum. It's great to hear Gabe Watson and that entire Michigan team getting involved tonight.
Courtney Grigsby tries to set up a return that Nebraska desperately needs. Grigsby gives him great field position. The Cornhuskers are still in this one. I think that guy Shanley, who made 2 terrific tackles on special teams, came up with a big block to spring a 28-yard return. Nebraska takes over in Michigan territory with the 9 for what would have been his 9th birthday and Matt on his wrist. Gabe Watson leads the Michigan defense back on the field right after this.
ESPN College Football, the MasterCard Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And in part by Pontiac. Vote for the game-changing performance of the year at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac.
62,016, 5th largest crowd in the history of this game on hand. 13th playing of the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Michigan leads by 11. The punt return by Courtney Grigsby gives Nebraska a great opportunity in a must-score situation. Corey Ross out to the 31-yard line. That's what they need to do.
That's what they have to do, Mike. The scoring drives that they have had, they've been able to run the football effectively. This is the best field position they've had the entire game. Now that we're under 9 minutes, they're down 11 points. They've got to be able to come up with some points, which means slow down the Michigan defensive front from pinning their ear, prevent them from pinning their ears back. And the only way to do that is to get Corey Ross on track, mixing him in, running the football.
Run. Even sneak a screen in there. Here is Ross.
Look at this.
Left side. Got a block. Got another one. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Nebraska. Got to go for 2. It's 28-23. Got to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game.
Mike, it's very easy to sit at home or very easy to sit up here and say that they should do this or do that, but my gosh, when you have a great runner like Corey Ross and you have an offensive line that is struggling as much as this Nebraska offensive line is struggling in protecting your quarterback, you absolutely have to do something to slow him down. And the best thing to do is to mix in the run game. That time, Corey Ross found a seam and took it to the house.
Momentary stoppage in the game. Fan ran on the field. Police quick to him and take him out.
Mike, Corey Ross has 157 yards rushing tonight. Great blocks and a great block downfield by Terrence Nunn on the perimeter. That once Ross got out there was nobody left. Well executed, and this Nebraska offensive line, you can tell when it comes to doing something to help them, they get pretty confident with their run blocking.
Ross had 37 carries for 138 yards against Michigan State in this game 2 years ago. They go for 2 to make it 3. Taylor will throw for it and hit it in the back of the end zone with Todd Peterson. First 2-point conversion of the year, and Husker Nation rises as one.
This is about throwing to a spot for Taylor. He's going to put this football right where he has to put it. It was funny there. You had one receiver thinking, hey, Swift thought this ball's thrown to me. But that is a big play for Nebraska to be able to come up and cut this deficit now to 3 points. Another example of Nebraska with their back against the wall, coming back and not caving in. Great character on this Husker team.
Good atmosphere.
Great scene.
Yeah, sorry folks can't be here with us. Let's just soak up a little bit. You see the SportsCenter bottom line in. SportsCenter will follow us after the game. 898 miles, as I said, from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. They've got most of the folks here 1,480 miles away from the Big House, where Chad Henne and Michigan had so many close games all year that on both sides of the ball, if they said it once to us in preparation for this game, they said it 30 times. Finish, learn how to finish.
That's right.
And now Michigan is at the point where they have the opportunity to try to finish the game, as Nebraska did against Kansas State and Iowa State and Pittsburgh in their close wins this year. They kicked away from Preston earlier in the quarter. See what Jake Wesch can do here. It'll be Preston from the 6. Has the left side with a cut. Tried to set up the block, but good pursuit, not giving up on the play by Nebraska's special teams. Tackled by Ben Eisenhart, the return 28 yards. SportsCenter is on the way as soon as we are done. USC's plan to stop Vince Young. Brett Favre addressing the media. Could we be heading to his last NFL start for Green Bay? And what will happen with NFL coaches? Stuart Scott, Neil Everett standing by. SportsCenter, just like this game, available in high definition as soon as we're done. Got a long way to go here in the Alamo town.
Mike is as excited as we are about seeing Nebraska run the football and see them have some confidence. It started with their defense. 28-17. It looked like desperation time, and their defense forced the punt to get their offense back on the field.
And he gets time as a window to throw. Jason Avant. Ball out! Recovered by Nebraska. Corey McEwen picked it up. Adam Ickes knocked it out of the hands of the senior Avant. And a huge turnover for the Huskers.
The mighty Mo, Mike. Momentum in college football goes hand in hand, and right now the Big Red Nation is taking over San Antonio. Great play by Ickes when it looked like a big gain for the Wolverines on 1st and 10. He knocks it loose, and McEwen is right there to pick it up to give the Huskers the ball again in Michigan territory.
Second turnover of the game for Michigan. Nebraska's given it back a couple of times. And the Cornhuskers take over at the Michigan 48. Right back to Ross on the ground. That time, the fullback Dane Todd couldn't make the block, and the defense pushes it up with Pierre Woods. Aaron Andrews.
Down by number 99.
Down on the field, we'll have more on Corey Ross.
I'm ready. Hey, guys, by the way, talking to Corey Ross yesterday, obviously Nebraska not making a bowl last year. Corey Ross, one of the co-captains on this team, said that left a huge void. That was something he wasn't used to. He said he felt this year being back in a bowl, going up against Michigan, it's on the seniors' shoulders to end this right and help this Nebraska program set a tone for next year, Mike.
What a great opportunity they have, Aaron. Here is Taylor throwing double coverage. Is that a reception? No, they say incomplete pass. It stayed in there for a long time, but was never secured by Nate Swift. Prescott Burgess there surrounding him.
For the importance of a 1st and 10 play. They lose yardage. Now they have to throw in an obvious down. Now they really have to throw the ball on 3rd down and long. And again, I want you to keep an eye on the Nebraska tackles to see how they do against this Michigan front. See if they're going to give Taylor enough time to throw.
Gets time, this time, down the middle, deflected, broken up by Burgess. Good drive on defense for the 2-year letterman. Honorable mention all conference as voted by the coaches. His athleticism, getting the job done, and Jason Avant exhales.
The protection was there, Mike. This time it was just a great play by Prescott Burgess. I don't even think Taylor saw him. He was locked in on the safety who was on the other side of his receiver, and Burgess came away out of nowhere, spying to come over and make the play.
Taylor 2 of 9 passing in this half. Where's Andrew Shanley, number 8? Is he going to hit Steve Preston again right before he catches it? Sam Cook ready to kick it away. Trying to down it inside the 10. He is great at downing it inside the 10. Shanley cannot get there. Ball crossed the plane. And in college football, it's where the ball is. So we'll have a touchdown. Thought the ball broke the plane. We'll step out. 28-25. Michigan leads by 3. Be right back. The hustle and bustle of the holiday season. This game has had the intensity of your pre-Christmas shopping on what's supposed to be a week of relaxation. On a headbanging here in the Alamo City. 28-25. Michigan leads. 6:49 left. And their ball at their own 20 after the touchback. Mike Hart has played most of the second half, and here he runs for about 4-5 yards out to the 25-yard line. Daniel Bullock's helping on the tackle. Well, one of the key plays in this game, in a 3-point lead, the 4-point save by Lloyd Carr, the Michigan coach. Let me take you back to the 3rd quarter. What was ruled on the field that Terrence Nunn touchdown, they didn't go to replay right away. Carr took a timeout, forcing them to review it, and upon further review, it was an incomplete pass. Nebraska, by the way, from the wrong hash mark, because the play was run from the left hash mark, from the right hash mark, kicked the field goal to go up 3 instead of 7. 4-point save. Michigan leads by 3. Henne throws it over the head of Ecker as he was being pressured by Jay Moore. 3rd down and about 5 coming up.
If you're just tuning in, this is a great football game. Both teams have shown a lot of heart, a lot of character. And you think about what's on the line here for both teams. Nebraska's building with Bill Callahan in their 2nd year. This would be the biggest win in their 2 years, building for the future. And for Michigan, it's 7-4. You imagine Michigan finishing 7-5? That would not go over well in Ann Arbor. There is a lot on the line for both these teams.
Haven't lost that many games in the season since 6-6 in '84. Pressure on Henne. He's hit as he throws. Incomplete or a fumble. They're ruling it a fumble on the field, and Nebraska has it at the 17. I'm not sure if he was coming forward or not. It looked like his arm has reached up. It was called on the field a fumble and a recovery by Nebraska at the 17. We'll see if they review this.
Maybe I'm seeing things. I really thought he was coming forward there, but
it's very close.
The ball looks like it comes out of his hand before it comes forward.
Henne has a very long windup. The empty hand comes through, and wow, what a shock.
There we come.
Boy, that is so close because he doesn't get the arm. Henne is coming forward with the ball.
Timeout. Michigan.
Oh, Michigan had to use a timeout again. They had to use their final timeout to suggest a replay. I got to tell you.
This is a shame.
Let me say this. I don't care what happens in the game. If you're going to have replay and not stop the game on key plays, take it out of the game.
That's why it's there.
Take it out of the game.
That's why it's there.
You're here to help the officials who have a very difficult job. You give them a tool, and then the guy sitting up in a booth next to us doesn't use it.
No, Mike, you're exactly right. The whole idea is the principle behind this is when you get to crucial plays that are it can affect the outcome. It's such a slight margin of error. Check it out. That's why we have it. That's why it's upstairs.
And I think that might be a fumble, too. I think the call on the field might be right. I'm not sure.
But the fact you said it might be.
Right.
That's why we got to go look at it. Is Lloyd Carr 2 for 2 on calling timeouts?
Timeout. The play is being reviewed.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, was it a Michigan timeout or a play being reviewed timeout? We'll have to sort that out as well. We heard them say timeout Michigan, and now they will review the play. I hate the fact that we care so much. We get so angry about this stuff.
Well,
gosh.
If we're going to do it, let's do it right. And by the way, I'm glad I'm not on the phone there making that call.
Because see, the empty hand shows you that the ball has been taken out before the forward pass, but it's so close.
Yeah, I think that.
I'd almost have to say that doesn't.
The old inconclusive. Yeah. It's a good shot here. Boy, oh boy.
The ball is still on his hand as his hand
lost control of the football.
Yes, he did. I would rule that in replay. If you made me rule off that,
you'd say a fumble.
Yeah, I would.
Based on what we've seen, it almost has to be a fumble, but it's still so close. You had to take a look at it.
The quarterback's hand had not started forward when the ball was knocked loose. The play on the field stands. It's a fumble. First down.
And now, if Nebraska comes back and takes the lead, Michigan will be out of timeouts because they've had to use 2 to get the game stopped to review.
And by the way, what was missed in all the chaos is the black shirts.
Yes.
The Nebraska defense, again, making a play to set up the offense for the 3rd straight series starting in Michigan's territory.
And back-to-back turnovers forced by Nebraska. The Huskers can tie or take the lead on this drive. And we have a whistle. Just checking to see if I see a penalty marker.
Prior to the snap, false start offense, number 85, 5 yards, first down.
It's over there on the Michigan sideline. It's obscured.
Like, those are the things that probably keep Bill Callahan up at night. J.B. Phillips has been playing well all night. It's a sophomore tight end. Simple just motion by the receiver. The tight end moves while the receiver's in motion. You've got a ton of momentum. Opportunity to take the lead in a game. You cannot afford a 5-yard penalty to set yourself back now at 1st and 15. Fundamentals and execution are the things this offense has to continue to improve on.
It dulls momentum so quickly, just that one little flag. You can get it back with a good block or a good run by Ross. Here he comes to the right. Dave Harris comes in and makes a tackle. Virtually no gain inside of 6 minutes here in regulation.
But if you're Nebraska, you're thinking, you know what, just the fact that they're going to it, it's making the front aware of Corey Ross. It's making the linebackers aware of Corey Ross, the safeties. It's just a different thing. Instead of being one-dimensional and allowing that defense to just dig in and come after Zac Taylor, now at least they're aware of it. I promise you, here comes the blitz now. They're going to bring the heat on Zac Taylor without any back in the backfield.
Bringing 4, Taylor throws. It is caught by Phillips in the open field. He's knocked down at the 13. He's done a nice job. First-team academic, all Big Ten the last 2 years. Terrific student who stepped in. We haven't talked about Matt Harry, and I apologize. The senior tight end, terrific pass-catching tight end who's been out all year for injury.
Coming into this season, if he's healthy, he's probably one of the best tight ends. Not probably, he is one of the best tight ends in the country, which would have helped this offense so much.
In a great tight end year in college football. 6 for the first down. 13 for the go-ahead touchdown. Ross, the star of the night, comes in motion. The other star, Taylor, sets and throws. Touchdown! Terrence Nunn! Nebraska leads. Terrence Nunn's second touchdown reception on the night. Nebraska has scored 2 touchdowns in 3.5 minutes. Jordan Congdon's extra point makes it a 4-point Nebraska lead.
Mike, great execution here by Nebraska on 3rd and short. Harris, keep an eye on Harris in the middle of the field for the Michigan defense. He gets so caught up in the tight end right at the first down line that he gets lost and doesn't see Nunn slip behind him. When you have 2 safeties on the hashes, you've got to be aware of a receiver slipping up the middle of the field vertically. That time the linebacker didn't see it because he was occupied with the other tight end, J.B. Phillips. Big play that time by Nunn, and a great throw by Zac Taylor. As if we didn't know before we got here to come into this game, you talk about a tough quarterback. Zac Taylor has been whipped tonight, been beaten up. He has continued to come back the way he has this entire year to make the throws and to provide the leadership for this Nebraska offense. I'm really impressed with this guy. He is a junior, and he'll be back to lead this offense next year for Nebraska.
Bob Church's 66 Orange Bowl against Alabama. Craig Sundberg in the 85 Sugar Bowl against LSU. Joined Zac Taylor. 3 touchdown passes, tying a Nebraska Bowl record.
What won't show up there is how many hits he took tonight, Mike.
Yeah.
That's the most impressive thing, is for him to take those hits and to come right back with an answer.
Which that now turns to Chad Henne in a Michigan offense that has turned it over the last 2 possessions. Jordan Congdon will come on to kick it off this time instead of Jake Wesh, whose last kick didn't get past the 10-yard line.
Speaking of answer, Steve Breaston, if he gets his hands on the ball, always gives Michigan an opportunity of great field position. It always seems like when it's a crucial point, the number 15 in the maize and blue comes up with a big return. But what a game. Woo. This is a good one.
With that 2-point conversion, by the way, it's a 4-point game, so Michigan will need a touchdown. No timeouts, 4.5 minutes. You would think because you don't have a referee getting his microphone repaired, you would think because of no timeouts, if you're Michigan, you have to approach this as your last opportunity to score tonight.
Michigan is very familiar with this situation. 6 of their 8 conference games in the Big Ten came down to the last 30 seconds or in overtime.
Squibbit to keep it away from Breaston. The fullback Thompson picks it up, and Brian Thompson takes it to the 35-yard line. The presence of Breaston forces the squib kick. Aaron Andrews has more on the Nebraska offensive star tonight.
You guys mentioned how many times Zac Taylor bounced back up after taking all those hits, staying composed throughout the night. That's exactly what Nebraska's offensive coordinator, Jay Norvell, told us. He challenged him right before the Colorado game, telling him, we need you to be the field general, the field sergeant. We need you to communicate with your teammates like you never have before. And Zac Taylor telling you and I, Mike, yesterday, he loved that challenge. That's why he came to Nebraska.
He did. He was ready for it right before that Colorado game. A great 30-3 win in Boulder. All right, here's the deal. 4:24, 65 yards. Michigan out of timeouts. And a first down throw for Avant. Got the foot down. Gain of 11, first down. Clock stops. You know, Avant was desperate to get his hands on the ball. Didn't want his last college touch to be that fumble that set up the first of those back-to-back Nebraska touchdowns.
Jason Avant, a clutch performer. Mike, with a game on the line, he's a guy that wants, as you said, his hands on the ball, an opportunity to make a play.
He has 4 catches, now 5. Makes a move, gets across midfield into the 49. Zach Bowman was over there, but Avant gets first down yardage. This will take us under 4 minutes. Michigan not huddling. Here's the quarterback story tonight. Each has thrown 3. Henne ran for 1, tying an Alamo Bowl record for touchdowns created. 2nd and 3. 3 in a row to Avant. Another first down. Kirk, you said it. Michigan had so many games, 6 of their 8 in the Big Ten, coming down to the very end of the game, the final half minute. Do you ever get comfortable in those situations when you get them so often?
I don't know if you get comfortable, but you get familiar. As a quarterback, as a team, it's like anything else. Anytime you've been around a certain climate, a certain situation, you're better the more you do it. And because Michigan has been here with a quarterback who's been there, it helps them execute.
Hart on the edge. Mike Hart taken out of bounds at the 36-yard line. A gain of 8 will have 2nd and 2 with 3:48 to go.
You know, if you're Nebraska right now, what has helped him get back into this game and take the lead in this game has been an aggressive defense. The challenge, in my opinion, on Kevin Cosgrove, the defensive coordinator, is maintaining that aggression late in the game while Michigan is being aggressive coming at you. Sometimes you'll see defenses backpedal and become passive. You got to continue to be aggressive.
Hart on 2nd down. First down. Mike Hart takes a shot at the 20, but gets a big gain. Bullocks made the big hit. Daniel, his brother Josh, left early. His twin brother now plays for the New Orleans Saints. Displaced, so they're in San Antonio. He's here at the game tonight.
Like, these are 2 football teams that have worked hard. They're tired. They want to continue to fight and find out what they're made out of here. Mike Hart all of a sudden coming alive here. Bullocks was happy about the hit. It's a big gain downfield for Mike Hart. All of a sudden, this Michigan drive is boom, 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 and they're down to the 20-yard line.
Mike Hart, 19 carries, 74 yards, 1st and 10, 3:20 on that turning 4th quarter clock. Flag down as Henne throws to Avant, complete for 5. It's an alignment flag. I don't know if Michigan didn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage.
I don't think Jake Long was on the line. The right tackle might have been lined up in the backfield.
Maybe the receivers.
Could be.
Illegal formation, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Offense, 5 yards. Replay first down.
I don't think any of the receivers were legal.
Yeah, receivers.
All were a step back from the line of scrimmage.
Like we keep talking about what's at stake here. And here's
a reminder to tune into the Rose Bowl game January 4th on ABC. Find out the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year. You can vote at ESPN.com. $100,000 to the winning school towards its Terrence Scholarship Fund. Avant spun down at the 19 by Grigsby. 3 minutes left.
We just keep talking about this, and I think we need to remind people about, in a bowl game like this, it's not about the BCS or the Rose Bowl. It's about trying to just continue to win and build for the future. And this is a team right now, Michigan, that does not want to face a 5-loss season.
2nd and 9. Here is Henne throwing for Ecker. Too high for his tight end and incomplete. He was getting ready to get hit. Couldn't step all the way in and throw it.
I love that matchup for Michigan. Whether it's Tyler Ecker at 6'6", Mike Massey at 6'4", and they go one-on-one against the safeties of Nebraska. It's a big advantage with size that Henne tries to take advantage of.
3rd down. You're in 4-down territory. Without timeouts, and a field goal does you nothing. So your play call has got to be in your mind. You're going for it on 4th down. Play clock at 6-5 as Henne from under center looks for Manningham. Couldn't get it. And it comes down to 4th down.
Ball was thrown right where it had to be. Manningham could not hold on to it. It was a 1st down.
This is not the game yet. Nebraska would have to pick up at least 1 first down. But because Michigan had to waste the 2 timeouts because of the incompetence of the replay official, this becomes essentially the ball game.
I think Jason Avant at the bottom of the screen is the go-to guy here.
4th and 8. Will Nebraska bring some heat? Henne looking, throwing toward Manningham. Incomplete. Michigan wanted a flag on Bowman, who made a great defensive play. And the Nebraska defense, the story of the 2nd half, comes up with a big play. Again.
Mike, that play looked like the play to beat Penn State. The quick slants, both on the outside. Manningham, you remember, made the play to beat Penn State on the final play. Henne goes back to him again. Boy, looking at that in a replay, it's the left hand hooked. Right hand, we were caught up in the right hand coming around to deflect the ball, but meanwhile the left hand of Bowman comes around to lock down Manningham. Rough night tonight for the Crew.
Michigan out of timeout, so they must stop Nebraska. As you get the run there for no gain, 2nd and 10 coming up.
Got to take another look at that for fans of both teams who like to argue this the next day. Michigan fans will be looking back at this replay, saying it should have been pass interference. You're right. The left hand of Bowman locks down Manningham. When you look at it in a replay, it's very easy to see. When you're seeing it in fast motion, it's very tough to see.
2nd and 9. Ross up the middle, runs again. The next snap will probably come at about 1:07 or so. Nebraska probably take it down to about 25 seconds or so here by the time they have to punt, if they end up not getting a first down. Our Capital One player of the game, Zac Taylor, 14 of 31. Great performance from Corey Ross in his final game, but all the hits Taylor took, terrific job of leading his team through. He's our Capital One player of the game. 3rd and 7. If they pick up a first down, the game will be over. They run the toss with Ross, who looks and just comes up 3 yards shy. 1:07. They'll probably mark it to play with 57. Probably have to kick the ball around 32 seconds left.
Anybody seen Braylon Edwards around? We could borrow him for these final 30 seconds. Making those big catches.
I don't know what they're waiting for to blow the ball ready for play. The ball is sitting there. I don't know what he's waiting for. I got to tell you, this is one of the poorest officiated games I've ever seen. The ball was sitting on the 26-yard line for 10 seconds, and these guys are looking at each other. So now Nebraska will be able to punt it away at about 18 seconds, leaving Michigan a shot or two at the end zone, depending on the return.
At least it's been consistent. I mean, it's been from the start to the finish.
The ball was sitting on the 26-yard line. No first down markers had to be moved.
8 seconds, maybe 10? 10 seconds?
Well done in clock management. The play stopped with 1 minute and 1 second left. And you have to give a reasonable amount of time to stop the ball, to spot the ball. But once the ball was down, usually you kind of blow it ready for play. They were leisurely in doing that. So with 18 seconds left, Michigan has to figure out, with a guy like Breaston, you probably put the return on from a punt situation.
Mike, Michigan, regardless of all the calls.
Yes.
You go back to this game, you think about 28-17. And you think about what's at stake for Michigan and what they're trying to do. It's a bowl game. You're up 28-17. You've got all the momentum in the world. You're dominating Nebraska's offensive line. And you lose control of the game. I mean, you could talk about the bad calls. We can go into that forever. The bottom line is Michigan had opportunities here to pull away here in the second half and secure it. This has been a problem for them throughout this year.
Right.
It's an ongoing theme.
I go back to what we said with 8 minutes left. Both sides of the ball said, we want the opportunity to finish, because it was what kept them from an even better season, and they clearly have not on both sides. And Nebraska has, and I give a lot of credit to Bill Callahan and this offense for realizing we've got to run the ball to succeed in this game. I think Bill did a brilliant job here in the second half with his play calling.
Made the adjustments that they had to. Defense gave them the ball back, and then they capitalized.
18 seconds left. Michigan sets up a return. A great kick by Cook. Breaston will have to make it happen from the 16. Up the middle of the field. Breaston tripped at the 37. What a play on special teams by Dane Todd, that 4-0 student who starts at fullback. He saved Breaston from kicking it into a fourth gear after the 62-yard punt.
The only way Michigan, realistically, you would think, has a chance, Mike, as you touched on, is for Breaston to make the big play. Remember Rocket against Colorado in a national championship game? Returned it, they called it back. It had to be one of those kind of moments.
7 seconds. Do you try to take 10 or 12 yards before your shot at the end zone?
Without any timeouts, I think you do. I think that's a good idea. You hit an out cut, try to get it to realistically give yourself a chance.
You see there's a safety back at the end zone. 64 yards. I think that's about the length of the Cordell Stewart pass against Michigan. Henne is sacked, got rid of it. No sack was called. It's incomplete with 2 seconds left. He got rid of it on the way down.
I know we only have 2 seconds here. Let's jump ahead and assume Nebraska holds on here.
Right.
We're not going to have time to talk about this. I just want to congratulate Bill Callahan.
Absolutely.
And for fans of Nebraska, look to the future and be excited, because this win, you cannot put into words how big this win is for Bill and for the staff and for the future of where they're trying to take this program. Congratulations to Nebraska.
64 yards in one play. 2 seconds left. Here's the end of the game as Henne throws. They'll try to set up the hook and ladder. It's in the hands of Breaston, who will throw it back to Mike Hart, who looks for Avant, who's got it at midfield, who throws it all the way across the field to Manningham. Play still alive as Manningham sets up Avant to try to flip it back to, looking for a Music City miracle. They're back beyond the original line of scrimmage as it comes across. One of the offensive linemen catches it. It's still a fumble. The game is not over yet. The game is not over yet. Nebraska players are on the field. The play hasn't been whistled dead yet. Hang on a second here. This play is still alive as Ecker goes down the field for Michigan, and he's finally brought down at the 15-yard line. The game is over. Nebraska wins. There should be a flag on the field for Nebraska players coming on. There should be a flag on the field for Nebraska players coming on during the play. None is thrown. The officials leave. The game is over, and Nebraska has won the 2005 MasterCard Alamo Bowl. We had the Music City Miracle and Cal Stanford about to happen.
Mike, this play's been practiced a few hundred times.
They were 10 yards.
I thought it was going to be a safety. I mean, they were moving backwards. Once Manningham had it, I'm thinking the play is dead, but Manningham kept it alive. Little option pitch back to Avant. Now he's motioning back. Now you got a lineman in the mix here. And once that's right, the ball's still alive. That is still alive.
Because it was a back, and you see all the Nebraska players on the field there. And that's a penalty. Only fitting that in this night of incorrect or wrong calls, another one, exclamation points the game.
Mike,
line scrimmage at 34. Go ahead, bud.
Very, very fortunate for Nebraska that they had a couple defenders paying attention, because you had 2 defenders giving the effort and continuing to play it out because they saw a guy running, and the rest of these players started to celebrate with their teammates. This is the crucial play right here. Once you get the lateral, that is a lateral from Avant. You have an effort there to go up and make a play by Beal. Now that ball is still loose. Mike, once Mike Hart got his hands on the ball, you're looking at the field, and I'm thinking, get it to Preston.
It's Tyler Ecker who's running. It's Zach Bowman is downfield here, Herbie.
Bowman
is Michigan players on the field also, so it should have been offsetting penalties.
Yeah, Bowman is there to make the play.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, Bill Callahan, during all of this, gets doused with Gatorade. And now he's watching this saying, all right, I've got my Gatorade shower.
Thanks for the water, fellas. Hold on a second.
Hey, all right, as we watch this, Aaron's with Bill Callahan. Go ahead, Aaron.
And Coach is actually trying to watch the replay. Did you know that play wasn't over?
Not at all. What happened was I was on the sideline watching the development of the play, and I got splashed. And then I didn't realize that I walked out. Everybody was jumping up and down. And I came out here about I was on the hash, and I saw the play end here on the right side of the sideline. And we won, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Coach, restore the order. That's what you told your team for this year. What does it mean for your program to finish your season with a win over Michigan?
I'm really proud of our kids, and their resiliency and their ability to fight through adversity. In our last 3 games, they fought back and did a tremendous job. I'm just proud as heck. I couldn't be any prouder of a bunch of kids and these kids and the way that they fought. Our last kickoff cover team, we had 7 guys out on that particular team, and we just kept plugging guys in. They kept fighting.
And maybe the story of the game, your defense, especially after that last play. How do you evaluate how your D went after it today?
Well, I was really excited. I thought Coach Cosgrove did an excellent job with the defensive staff and players. They did a tremendous job in pass rushing and keeping Michigan at bay the best that they could. And this is a talented football team we played tonight in. Our hat goes off to Michigan and Lloyd Carr. They're a tremendous football team, and they're a quality team in every respect. And it's just a real honor to play against them.
Never had a finish like that in the NFL, did you?
I can't remember.
Michael, send it back up to you.
Thank you, Aaron. On November 7th, after the loss to Kansas, they asked Bill Callahan if he were the athletic director, would he fire the head coach? Ask that same question now, huh? Michigan 7-5, most losses since 1984, with Aaron Andrews, Kirk Herbstreit, our entire crew. Mike Tirico. Good night from the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. Stuart Scott and Neil Everett of SportsCenter next. Nebraska 32, Michigan 28.